Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the world of cybersecurity and healthcare.
Ah, very relevant.
Yeah, it is, especially these days.
Right. So we've got a recent article here that's really got me thinking.
Okay.
How secure are healthcare data, really,
Yeah,
with AI transforming the medical landscape? It feels like it's opening up this whole new battleground
absolutely.
for cyber threats.
Yeah,
We're not just talking about stolen credit cards here.
right.
This is about hackers potentially messing with patient data
Mm-hmm.
in ways that could actually harm people.
Yeah, in ways that we've never really had to think about before, right?
Exactly.
It really highlights the double-edged sword of AI.
Right.
It can revolutionize patient care,
Yeah.
but those same tools in the wrong hands,
Yeah.
it's a recipe for some serious trouble.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay.
First up, ransomware.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've all heard about it,
Sure.
but this article dives into how it's evolving in healthcare.
Right.
And frankly, it's scary stuff.
It's not just about locking up computer systems anymore.
No, think of it this way.
Right.
Imagine a hospital's entire network,
Okay.
from patient records
Mm-hmm.
to surgical schedules,
Yeah.
held hostage until they pay up.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare scenario, and
Definitely.
it's happening more and more.
The article mentions this Pennsylvania clinic
Oh, yeah.
that refused to pay a $5 million ransom.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of sensitive patient images ended up online,
Wow.
and the clinic got hit with a $65 million lawsuit.
Oh, so adding insult to injury.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
Gee.
It's not just about the money.
Right.
The article talks about how hackers are now contacting patients directly,
Oh, wow.
trying to pressure clinics into paying.
Ah.
They're using patients as pawns,
Oh, that's awful.
turning up the emotional and ethical heat.
That's just messed up.
That's just messed up.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, no.
The article then goes beyond ransomware
Okay.
into patient data manipulation. This is where things get really chilling.
Absolutely. We're not talking about data breaches here.
Okay.
We're talking about hackers actually altering medical records,
Hold on.
test results.
So they could literally change someone's blood type.
even treatment plans in their record.
It's entirely possible.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, and the consequences could be devastating.
Yeah.
Imagine a hacker manipulating lab results
Okay.
to show false positives for a serious condition.
Mm-hmm.
A doctor, relying on that faulty data,
Right.
could administer the wrong treatment,
Oh, gosh.
potentially putting a patient's life at risk.
Okay, that's officially terrifying.
It is scary stuff.
And the article points out that AI can make these manipulations even harder to detect.
Think of AI as a master forger.
Oh, wow.
It can make these changes so subtle,
Mhm.
so believable,
All right.
that they could slip past even the most experienced medical professional.
Yeah.
It's like a ghost in the machine, silently altering data and leaving no trace. So we've got hospitals facing these sophisticated attacks,
Right.
but how are they even supposed to defend themselves?
Well, the article talks about these
What's being done to fight back against this?
recognized cybersecurity controls that hospitals are being encouraged to implement.
Okay, but what does that actually mean?
It's about building layers of protection.
What are we talking about here?
Imagine a bank vault.
Okay.
You've got multiple locks,
Uh-huh.
security cameras,
Yeah.
alarms,
Mm-hmm.
and guards.
Right.
That's the kind of approach hospitals need to take with their data.
So things like multi-factor authentication
Yeah.
to access patient records,
Mm.
regularly updating software
Right.
to patch vulnerabilities.
Eat everything up to date.
It's like making sure all the doors and windows are locked and the alarm system is working.
Exactly. And it's not just about technology.
Okay,
The article emphasizes the human element,
right.
training employees to be cyber aware.
Yeah.
After all,
This is-
even with the best security systems,
Mm-mm.
one wrong click on a phishing email can bring the whole thing crashing down.
Speaking of phishing,
Yay.
the article gets into how AI is being used to make these attacks way more sophisticated.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Gone are the days of those poorly written emails with obvious typos.
Right, right.
Now we're talking about AI crafting emails that sound exactly like they're coming from
Yeah.
your doctor, your colleague,
Yeah.
or even your IT department.
Exactly.
So you could get an email that looks perfectly legitimate, asking you to update your login credentials
Yeah.
or download a file,
Right.
but in reality, It's a trap set by hackers
Yep. And healthcare workers,
and healthcare workers.
constantly under pressure and bombarded with information,
Mm.
are prime targets.
Yeah.
They're more likely to click on a convincing phishing email,
Right.
especially if it appears to be from a trusted source.
The article mentions a 2023 attack on a healthcare network
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
where these AI-generated phishing emails
Uh-huh.
completely bypass their security systems.
Wow.
The hackers basically walked right in through the front door.
It's incredible.
Several employees clicked on a link thinking they were updating their software.
Yeah.
But it was actually malware.
Oh,
Boom, ransomware attack. The entire network locked down for almost a week.
So it's like AI is giving hackers a superpower,
Yeah,
allowing them to exploit human vulnerabilities
Right.
in a whole new way.
that's precisely it.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, is AI ultimately a force for good or evil in this whole cybersecurity landscape?
That's a great question.
It feels like we're on the edge of a whole new era of cyber warfare,
Absolutely.
and healthcare is right on the front lines.
And the article doesn't shy away from that reality.
Yeah,
It's a sobering reminder that in today's digital world,
right.
our health and well-being are inextricably linked
Mhm.
to the security of our data.
So what's the solution here?
That's the big question.
Are healthcare organizations just doomed to be sitting ducks in this cyber arms race?
Not necessarily. There are proactive steps they can take to fight back.
Okay.
And that's what we'll be diving into next.
All right.
Stick with us as we explore some of the strategies hospitals and clinics are using to bolster their cybersecurity
Okay.
in this increasingly complex landscape.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Right?
Sounds good.
Let's go.
All right. So we've talked about the threats,
Mm-hmm.
ransomware, data manipulation, these supercharged phishing attacks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot to take in,
Right?
but the article does offer some hope.
Okay, good.
It digs into how hospitals are fighting back.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of that seems to be this whole idea of downtime procedures.
Downtime procedures, yeah.
What exactly are those?
Well, it's about being prepared for the worst case scenario. Imagine a hospital's systems go down.
Right.
No access to electronic records,
Yeah.
no way to schedule procedures, maybe even critical equipment is affected.
Oh, wow.
Downtime procedures are all about
Yeah.
figuring out how to keep patients safe. When technology fails.
So it's like having a backup plan,
Exactly.
a way to keep things running even when the digital lights go out.
Exactly. Think about it.
Yeah.
If a hospital's electronic prescribing system is down,
Okay.
they might have to go back to paper charts
Wow.
and pre-printed dosage guides.
Oh, God.
Nurses might have to double-check medications manually,
Yeah.
which takes more time and increases the risk of human error.
Wow. That's intense.
It is. It's a
It really highlights how reliant we've become on these systems.
hugely reliant.
Yeah. But even with the best downtime procedures, it feels like
Mm-hmm.
human error is still a huge vulnerability.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we've all clicked on a link we shouldn't have at some point. Right?
Absolutely. And that's why employee training is so crucial.
Right.
It's about empowering everyone in the hospital,
Okay.
from doctors to administrative staff, to be cyber aware.
Right?
They need to know how to spot those sophisticated phishing emails,
Yeah.
how to report suspicious activity, and how to follow security protocols.
So instead of just relying on firewalls and antivirus software,
Right.
we're also training people to be the first line of defense.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And it's not just about sitting through boring lectures.
Right.
The article talks about simulated phishing exercises, where they actually send out fake phishing emails to test employees' awareness.
Wait, so they're trying to trick their own staff.
Yeah,
Sounds kind of devious, but I guess it makes sense.
it does, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about preparation.
Okay.
The more realistic the training, the
Mhm.
better equipped employees will be to handle real-world attacks.
Okay, so we've got downtime procedures,
Mm-hmm.
employee training.
Yeah,
What else is in the cybersecurity toolbox?
well.
The article kept mentioning federal incentives
Oh, yeah.
for hospitals to improve their cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal with that?
It's about encouraging hospitals to step up their game.
Oh.
Federal agencies,
Mhm.
like the Department of Health and Human Services, are offering incentives for healthcare organizations to implement these
Right, those controls we talked about earlier,
cybersecurity controls.
like multi-factor authentication and regular software updates.
Exactly.
But what kind of incentives are we talking about? Cash bonuses, tax breaks.
Not quite that glamorous.
Oh,
It's more about leniency in case of a data breach.
okay.
If a hospital can demonstrate that they've taken these steps to
Mhm.
protect their data,
Yeah.
they might face less severe penalties from regulators.
So it's kind of like a good behavior discount.
You could say that.
Interesting.
It's acknowledging that even with the best defenses in place,
Yeah.
breaches can still happen.
Right.
But if a hospital can show they've done their due diligence,
Mhm.
they're more likely to get a slap on the wrist than a full-blown investigation.
Interesting. It makes sense to reward those who are taking cybersecurity seriously.
Yeah.
But let's circle back to AI for a second.
Okay.
We've talked about how it's being used by hackers, but can it also be a force for good in this fight?
Absolutely. It's not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
AI can be a powerful tool for defense as well.
Okay, how so?
Think of it as a highly intelligent security guard
Okay.
constantly patrolling the network, looking for anything suspicious.
So like an AI watchdog that can sniff out malware
Exactly.
and block attacks before they even happen.
AI-powered systems can analyze huge volumes of data,
Yeah.
looking for patterns that might indicate an attack.
Okay.
They can detect anomalies in network traffic,
Mm-hmm.
identify malicious files,
Right.
and even predict potential vulnerabilities
Wow.
before hackers can exploit them.
So it's like having a crystal ball
In a way, yeah.
that can see into the future of cyber attacks.
AI is all about pattern recognition and prediction.
Right.
It can learn from past attacks,
Mm-hmm.
identify emerging threats,
Yeah.
and adapt its defenses accordingly.
It sounds like AI is the key to staying ahead of the curve.
It certainly is a powerful tool in the arsenal.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about the human element.
Right.
Even with the most advanced AI systems,
Yeah.
it's still crucial to have trained personnel
Okay.
who can monitor the systems, interpret the data,
Right.
and make informed decisions.
So it's a partnership, not a replacement.
Exactly.
AI and human expertise working together.
Precisely. It's about combining the best of both worlds,
Yeah.
AI speed and analytical capabilities,
Mm-hmm.
with human judgment and intuition.
Okay. So we've talked about defenses,
Mm-hmm.
but let's go back to that ransomware dilemma for a minute.
Okay.
The article really wrestled with this question,
Yeah,
to pay or not to pay.
it's a tough one.
It feels like there's no easy answer.
The FBI generally advises against paying ransoms,
Okay.
arguing that it only encourages more attacks
Mhm.
and funds criminal activity.
Right.
But in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
when a hospital's systems are down
Right. No.
and patient care is at risk,
Right.
it's easy to see why some organizations might feel they have no choice but to pay up.
Especially when you consider the potential consequences of not paying.
Right.
Prolonged downtime,
Yeah.
reputational damage.
And absolutely.
Right.
And the article mentions that some lawmakers are actually pushing to make paying ransoms illegal.
Really?
The idea is that if hospitals stop paying,
Yeah.
hackers will eventually move on
Right.
to other targets,
Right.
making healthcare less attractive as a target.
So it's like trying to cut off the financial incentive for these attacks.
That's the goal, but it's a controversial approach.
I can see why.
Critics argue that it could actually make things worse,
Oh, wow.
putting even more pressure on hospitals to beef up their security
Right.
while simultaneously taking away one of their options
Yeah.
for dealing with a crisis.
It's a real catch-22.
It is.
And the article doesn't offer any easy solutions.
No,
It leaves us with more questions than answers, which is kind of unsettling.
I think that's the point. This isn't a simple issue with a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right?
It's a complex and evolving landscape,
Hmm.
and it requires a multifaceted approach.
So where do we go from here?
That's a great question.
What's the takeaway for us, the patients,
Yeah,
the people who rely on the healthcare system?
that's what we'll explore.
Okay.
As we wrap up this deep dive in our final segment,
Right.
we'll delve into what it all means for the future of healthcare
Right.
and how we as patients can be more informed
Mhm.
and empowered in this digital age.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Ransomware, data manipulation,
Yeah.
AI as both a weapon and a shield.
A double-edged sword.
Right.
Yeah.
It's clear that cybersecurity in healthcare is more crucial than ever.
It's a whole new ballgame.
Yeah,
And the stakes couldn't be higher.
right.
We're not just talking about protecting data anymore. We're talking
Yeah.
about protecting people's lives.
So what does this all mean for us, the patients? It's easy to feel powerless in the face of these
Yeah.
sophisticated threats.
Sure.
What can we actually do?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We need to start thinking about cybersecurity as a fundamental part of healthcare, just like hygiene or quality of care.
Right.
We wouldn't hesitate to ask our doctor about their credentials, right?
Totally.
We want to know they're qualified,
Oh, yeah.
experienced, up to date on the latest research.
Thanks.
We should have that same level of scrutiny when it comes to cybersecurity.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask your healthcare providers
Yeah.
about their security practices.
What kind of things should we be asking?
What steps are they taking to protect your data?
Okay.
Do they have incident response plans in place?
So it's about being informed healthcare consumers,
Yeah.
asking those tough questions, and not just assuming that everything is secure behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And it's not just about individual patients. We need to be having these conversations at a broader level as well,
What do you mean?
with policymakers,
Okay.
with regulators,
Yeah.
with the tech companies developing these AI-powered systems.
So it's a collective responsibility.
It is.
Everyone has a role to play in building a
Absolutely.
more secure digital healthcare ecosystem.
That's exactly it. And it's not just about fear-mongering or
Sure.
throwing money at the problem.
Yeah.
It's about having thoughtful discussions,
Okay.
weighing the risks and benefits of new technologies,
Mm.
and finding ways to harness the power of AI for good
Right.
while mitigating the potential for harm.
The article touched on this idea of
Yeah.
making ransomware payments illegal
Right.
could actually backfire,
Uh-huh.
forcing hospitals to choose between protecting patient data
Yeah,
and providing care.
right. It's a tough one.
It's a tricky situation with no easy answers.
It highlights the complexity of this issue.
Yeah.
There's no silver bullet, no magic solution that will make all the cyber threats disappear.
It's an ongoing process,
It is.
a constant evolution of strategies and technologies.
Absolutely.
So what's the final takeaway
Well,
you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the most important thing is awareness.
Okay.
We need to understand that cybersecurity is no longer
Mhm.
just an IT issue.
Right.
It's a healthcare issue.
Yeah.
It's a societal issue.
Absolutely.
And as AI continues to reshape the medical landscape,
Right.
we need to be engaged, informed, and vigilant.
It's about demanding transparency,
Yes.
holding healthcare providers and tech companies accountable,
Mhm.
and advocating for policies that prioritize
Absolutely.
patient safety in the digital age.
The future of healthcare is digital,
Yeah.
and we all have a stake in making sure that future is secure.
That's a powerful message to end on.
Thanks.
So to our listeners,
Yeah.
stay curious,
Stay safe out there.
stay informed, and stay engaged in this crucial conversation. Until next time, this is The Deep Dive. Signing off, Ahana.